Welcome to the Registered Investment Advisor Podcast, where financial services marketing expert Seth Greene interviews experts, executives, and top producers to share can't-miss tips on how they successfully manage their financial service firms, grow their businesses, create great relationships, and influence the industry. And now, here's your host, Seth Greene.
Welcome to the podcast. This is your host, Seth Greene. Today, I've got the good fortune to be joined by Aaron White, a principal at Adero Partners with over 17 years experience in pre-liquidity planning, wealth transfer, private investments, and tax strategy. As Adero's Chief Growth Officer, Aaron focuses on business development, strategic partnerships, marketing, and supporting their advisor team. Aaron, thanks so much for joining us.
Hey, good morning, Seth. Thanks for having me.
Our pleasure. Let's go back in time just a little bit. How did you get started?
Well, let's see. I studied finance in college. Afterwards, I joined a full-service accounting firm in the Bay Area. Started off in the consulting group, did mostly business valuation, 409A, stock option work, but also helped out with some litigation support, did some forensic financial analysis for expert testimony. And every busy season, I'd walk down the hall and grab a stack of tax returns to help the tax group. So pretty good, well-rounded education early on.
Awesome. And then how did you get to Adero?
Well, 2008, 2009 hit, and a lot of the valuation work that I was doing for early stage biotech and medical device companies was no longer needed. And so I looked for an opportunity in wealth management and found Adero, and so made the move in April of 2009, right there at the bottom of the market.
All right. Well, interesting time to have that happen. Talk a little bit about Adero and because you guys are up to some interesting things and what makes you different.
Yeah, sure. Well, I think the main difference is that we have a tax background. My partner Michael started the company in '99. A lot of his clients were looking for a more integrated approach to their tax planning, investment management, and financial planning, and so the RA started. When I joined in 2009, we had 13 people and about 350 assets under management. Fast forward today, we're 53 people, just over $3.5 billion. We're based in the Bay Area still. We have expanded out to Oregon. We also have advisors now in Texas, Colorado, and Montana. And we use a family CFO model. So in the relationship with our clients, they're the CEOs. Ultimately, they make all the decisions, but they leverage us to do the research, the analysis, and recommendations, and really bring that concise executive summary with all the bullet points of action items and planning opportunities. And then together we go through the list, prioritize what makes sense, and then we go and execute on whatever investment planning or tax strategy we make sense for them and their family. And really just an efficiency play on their time, try to let them enjoy their family, their hobbies, their business, and let us focus on all the details.
That makes a lot of sense. How are you bringing those folks in the door?
You know, over the years, it's been pretty consistent. Client referrals is the number one source of growth for the company. It's not surprising when you do good work for clients, they tell their friends. And I think the emphasis on tax planning and saving people money is something to brag about. And so we get a lot of referrals from clients. We've also developed a pretty good network of other professionals, accountants, attorneys, business valuation folks, other specialty areas. And we have a COI strategy that's pretty well defined in the firm. Early on, I'd say I noticed that looking across all the different advisors, everyone had their favorite CPA, their favorite estate planning attorney, and their insurance agent. But we didn't share those relationships, and those people didn't have access to the full team. And so probably about 10 years ago, I conducted a study across all the advisors and surveyed, hey, what's working, what's not working? Are you generating mutual referrals, or is it just a one-way relationship? And what we found was that there were some really great opportunities to expand the access that our team had to these other professionals, to also get some knowledge share and some education. And so we put together a pretty well-defined process around our preferred advisors list. And so really curating the top 40 professionals we want to work with, letting them meet the other 23 advisors in the firm, learning a little bit more about their ideal client, sharing who our ideal client is, and then developing those relationships over time. And that's really helped provide growth from the COI piece.
That's a very well thought out, well executed model. How are you recruiting advisors to be part of Adero?
Well, we've now got two HR full-time HR people in house, and so they do a great job putting together compelling job descriptions, and then working with either LinkedIn primarily, and also sometimes we'll use an executive recruiter for some more specific hires that we're doing. And we've got a very well-defined process there in terms of top grading, going through the technical piece, and then culture, which is really important. So while you might be able to get through to the technical round and then the final round, the culture, I think, is the critical decision point. And we bring people in from all areas of the firm. So we'll have someone from operations, someone from tax, someone from the client service group, just to make sure it's the right fit, and we want to work with that person.
I love that. For your ideal clients, I think you mentioned a couple different verticals. Who's your primary ideal client?
I'd say people working in tech, peak earning years between 40 and 60. Also people approaching retirement and really trying to make sure that they have enough to sustain their lifestyle once they decide to retire. People that are in a high tax bracket and have tax complexity. A lot of times equity compensation, incentive stock options, AMT, there's a lot of planning that we can do around that. Or people with a concentrated stock position. We've got some strategies to help them diversify without paying tax through exchange funds. And that's been pretty popular the last couple of years. And also doing wealth transfer. We have clients that are in asset management themselves, actually working as a venture partner or a private equity partner, and they have carried interest. And so there's some really interesting planning around shifting carried interest to trust for children, also doing some charitable planning around low basis or zero basis stock.
With all of the roles and the different ways you interact that you juggle every day, how do you balance it all?
Well, we've got a great team. We've got 53 people, like I said, 24 advisors, and then the rest of the folks are in the planning and back office support. So we take a team approach. Every relationship has two primary advisors, a client service associate, and a financial planner. If a client's using our tax services, then they have two other tax professionals that we plug in as well. And so that really helps balance the workload. One thing that we've done to make it easier on the client is we've developed a team email. So you have a single email, Team Greene at Adero Family CFO. You email that email, you send that your message to that email, and internally we route it to all the different people that are supporting you. And so you don't have to remember, is Aaron the guy for the tax question, or is it Sarah or somebody else? And so that I think has been really popular with our clients.
It would seem to make their lives easier, which is all part of the job, helping them. Your passion is obvious. What do you like best about what you're doing?
I love the tax planning side of it, saving people money. I do a fair amount of qualified small business stock planning, and right off the top there, if you get a $10 million exclusion in the highest tax bracket, that's $2.3 million. So that can make a founder or an early employee very happy. And so discovering those opportunities on a call with somebody usually ends in a smile and a follow-up meeting. So that gives me the most joy, I think, in my job.
When you're not busy in your role at the firm, what do you do for fun?
I've been playing ice hockey since I was a kid. I grew up in Colorado, played at the University of Colorado for a few years, moved out here and started coaching. I've been coaching at the San Francisco ice rink. We have a youth hockey program, the SaberCats. I've been doing that for going on 20 years now. I've got an 11-year-old that plays. And so when I'm not crunching numbers and doing tax planning, I'm at the ice rink. I also play myself a couple of days a week to stay in shape.
Good for you. Where are you plugged into? What are you reading? What are you listening to? What gives you inspiration and ideas?
Yeah, I think the approach that we use internally, just to share ideas, and all the advisors get together periodically and talk about challenges and plannings and coming up with ideas to improve. I think that helps. And so we've got really two forums for that. We've got plan defense, and every client goes through a process where we have discovery and we gather information, put together a draft proposal that gets circulated to the other advisors in the firm, and then we get together on a video conference Tuesday mornings, and the two advisor team will present their recommendations for that person's planning, their investments, and the other advanced planning strategies. And all the other advisors can then chime in and question the assumptions that were used, the rates of return, the type of investments that they're recommending. and really try to make some refinements and gather all the best ideas in the firm. And it's also a good way for younger advisors to learn because they get to hear from the senior advisors and the partners at Adero. So that's one way. And then we also have a periodic wealth advisor meeting where we, again, talk about different technologies and different softwares, things that we're looking to bring in to improve the experience and make jobs easier for everybody. And so that's exciting. I think one of the tools that we're going to bring in this year is an estate planning tool, wealth.com. They just launched recently, and they provide a way to create core documents, wills, trusts, medical directives, financial powers, as well as doing abstraction for existing plans. So you can take an old PDF of your trust, put it into the software, it'll scan it for you and give you a one-page summary. So that'll help for our advisors who may be not as familiar with trust and estate law to be able to quickly get a bullet point list of all the different points to discuss with their client in a meeting. And then taking it a step further, we can also now do projections, modeling out what their estate looks like 10, 20 years in the future, and then visualizations. What does that 60-page estate plan look like from a flow chart standpoint? So you've got the grantors and you've got the different beneficiaries and what happens at the first death and the second death. And so I think visualizing and making something that to us is maybe not that complicated, but for clients can be overwhelming. But we think that's going to be a major improvement going into this year.
Absolutely. You talked about who an ideal client for Adero is. Who's an ideal advisor?
Yeah, I think someone that's got a very planning focus, very deep planning focus, and so someone that asks good questions, someone that cares about developing relationships with people, and really wants to learn and keep growing. And so we always look for people that are trying to better themselves in some way, some other professional designation, attending conferences, collaborating, somebody that's a team player. That's what we look for.
For our folks who are watching and listening and want to learn more, where is the best way for them to learn more about Adero, and what is the best place to learn more about Aaron White?
Yeah, well, you can visit our website, aderopartners.com. You can also follow me on LinkedIn, and would be happy to help anyone with their tax planning.
Awesome. This has been Seth Greene for the RIA podcast here with Aaron White of Adero Partners. Aaron, we know your time's incredibly valuable. We greatly appreciate you spending some with us.
Thank you, Seth. I really appreciate it. Have a good day.
You too. Thanks everybody for watching or listening. We will talk to you or see you next time.
49 faces looked to him in triumph. Over the last 12 months, they had each taken turns and promoted his business for a week at a time, driving over $987,342 in revenue. What if you had a network of 50 centers of influence who promoted your business every week for a year? Grab your copy of the #1 Amazon best-selling book, The Ultimate Guide to Growing Your Business with a Podcast, at 33% off the Amazon price by going to ultimatepodcastbook.com. Again, that website for 33% off the Amazon price is ultimatepodcastbook.com.